Happy Friday, everybody. I'm forecaster Dustin Staples. Thank you for checking out your WITN First Alert forecast here on the web. As always, we do appreciate you checking us out. Pretty nice Thursday it was. It's also going to be a pretty nice Friday all around the board as well. Not going to be seeing any major issues with rain today, but it's going to be similar temperatures out there. But of course, we're going to see more cloud cover than anything. Of course, our drought monitor came out on Thursday. Yeah, the severe pocket popped up here as we went towards the portions of Pitt, Lenoir, outside of Wilson, Nash, and Edgecombe counties as well. And the rest of us in a moderate drought with this coastal county still abnormally dry. So we're going to get some rain as we go towards this weekend. It may not be complete drought busting rain, but it'll help us out. Of course, the ground is so dry. Any water, any rain that we do see will kind of just soak it all in all at once. Of course, thankfully, we're not dealing with major excessively flooding issues, but of course, coastal communities here will be dealing with that coastal low more than our inland locations. But again, a cooler and drier stretch of pattern moves in as we go towards next week. Right now, though, we started things off this morning, some 50s. I'm sure there was some isolated 40s here or there, 60s and 70s back towards the coast. You can tell we're a little bit not as extremely cooler as we were yesterday morning, but overall, though, not looking too bad. Now, minus a few little isolated coastal sprinkles, we're pretty dry all around. Here's our coastal low here. It's starting to get organized here by tonight. Most of that will start to move in here as we go towards, let's say, post-midnight and much of tomorrow. But behind it, though, once we get past this coastal low, we got some quiet weather finally moving in our region. Latest update on Tropical Storm Jerry here. Still a tropical storm forecasted to become a hurricane sometime this weekend. It's going to make that sharp U-turn out to sea here. Of course, it's not going to be posing any impacts to land minus Bermuda. And yes, we've got now subtropical storm Karen. Of course, this is a very short-lived storm. This is not going to be posing any impacts, mostly up towards portions of the northern Atlantic. Again, most likely this storm will fizzle out over the weekend. We'll be down to 1. So right now we are continuing our duration of our alphabet names. Lorenzo is the next name up on the list. All right, first alert weather day will go into effect Saturday afternoon. That'll continue for much of that due to the potential for our mostly coastal flooding issues, as well as that wind. Rain later in the day, Saturday night to Sunday morning, could fall heavy at times, again creating some issues for flooding for some folks. But again, it looks like this is more of a wind issue, though we will be seeing some pockets of heavy rain. Today, no issues with nothing to speak about. There's quiet skies out there with clouds increasing force, and rain moves in post-midnight tonight. Sunrise tomorrow morning, we'll start to see showers develop, and it's going to get heavy for some of our localities. We're just going to be in and out of the rain most of the day, and it's getting a very consistent wet pattern overnight into Saturday and early Sunday morning, too. So Saturday night into Sunday morning, that's what we're watching out for, which is why we've issued a first alert weather day in advance of that notice. And now the wind's holding very strong along the coast. That's why we got a lot for the potential for coastal flooding. Sustained winds about 15 to 20, 30 miles an hour. Our inland locations here got those 20 to 30 mile sustained winds. That only means gusts can only get stronger from that point. Sunny afternoon, though, once this coastal low moves, it's still going to get quite windy, holding those wind status anywhere between 15 and 35 miles an hour. Gusting anywhere you see today under 30, but tomorrow, though, we'll get those gusts anywhere between 25, maybe 40 miles an hour at times as we go towards tomorrow night into Sunday morning. Sunrise, particularly as that coastal low moves up, it's going to be throwing back a lot of wind out there as well. So unfortunately, not the greatest weekend to be doing anything outdoors. Once we put all the model data put together, a conglomerate of data, about 2 to 3 inches, we could see some pockets of higher 4 inches of rain, so just keep that in mind. Of course, all day we've got some events kicking off tonight in New Bern, the Mumfest tomorrow, looking very wet and soggy out there. Unfortunately, not going to be seeing a pretty day out there. Humidity is also going to increase for us, but it'll start to go down a little bit as we go towards next week as well. Good weather for Friday night football this evening. No issues with that. Riv currents all around today are high for every beach from the Crystal Coast to the northern and southern Outer Banks. Probably not a great beach day, but if you want to get out in the sand, you might be able to get that at play. Again, first alert weather day mostly for the coast as well as the inland locations due to the high concern for rain and wind, as well as our inland locations too. Once we get past this again Sunday, we may see some dry weather later in the day, but still going to be quite windy, and then lots of sunshine and cooler weather moves back in as highs return to the lower 70s.